Good evening, welcome to my channel. I've sorted out the memory issue, actually the cycling issue. I just emptied it, so it was actually blocking some memory. I'm still using mobile phone, but my plan now, my confirmed plan is not to buy a good camera to try and record. I'm going to talk to a few people to get a camera. That's my priority number one now, buying a camera. Of course, I have a laptop, I have a computer, a desktop also. The two computers are actually laptop and desktop, but I don't like them in terms of their cameras are very. It's not their cameras. That's the laptop is new, but I think it's cheap. I just need to. I need to get ask people to get the right equipment. Really, there's no point buying things. I buy something used, which is actually appropriate for doing what I want to do. So I was talking about capitalism in the first camera in the first video. Welcome to my channel. My name is David Okon, and I'm talking about capitalism. I was saying capitalism is a political economic system, which actually capitalism. There are very many elements in as a study. There are many elements, but there's only one now. This market type of capitalism. It has always been the same, but for political reason, if you approach capitalism as a study, the way it is presented is a format of study or research facility. You just you discover you just tend to think there are so many different types of capitalism, but in practice, actually, there's only one. There's always been one, and the purpose for capitalism, like I said in the previous video, and I'm actually talking about it as the cost of living. The cost of living is caused deliberately. Well, it is an accident which happens as a crisis because of deliberate policy by the government. Why should I mean to say if if you have time or if you don't have time, the best thing in your life is to learn about something which affects your life. And one of the cultural failures of modern society, people just want party, they want entertainment, they want money, and the money people want us actually to spend, go on holiday, buy new things. We are so greedy, poor people and rich alike. Actually, it's because we are so greedy for power and we are greedy for things. That's why we created capitalism. Human being created capitalism. Is a human system. It's an economic system. It has history, the long history of human beings behaving in certain ways. It's now culminated in what we now call a civil system. But civil means we are cool as people. We don't call ourselves our neighbors strangers. I mean, we don't call other humans. I mean, if we are civil, and if we really we are, because we talk about civilization, modern society, we say we are not barbarians. Civil is opposite of barbarism. Barbarism means you behave almost like wild animals. You are so backward, and I know we are so intelligent. Human beings have always been intelligent. We shouldn't think intelligence is a modern thing. Mankind is born with intelligence more than animals. If you compare ourselves with animals, we are superior as a species. Animals are less are less intelligent. They are also intelligent, but we are more intelligent than animals. Some people call us animals, but we are not. We may be kind of like we are living being, but we are human. You know, the reason some people try to call us animal because they want to abuse us. I mean, if you start abusing people, the idea of evolution is false. It's fake. It's fake news. It doesn't exist. We did not evolve from wild animals. We were not once animals. We were humans from the beginning. There isn't a day, there's no proof, there's no evidence that human beings were once animals. Nothing. It's a form of madness. If you call it science, then science of madness. Nothing more, nothing less. Let us cut, the crap and just, tell the truth. Humans are humans and nothing more, nothing less. If they behave badly, they just behave like animals. They don't behave like humans. Humans are supposed to be intelligent. If we use our intelligence appropriately, we begin to make sense of our life. Some people may ask me why I'm talking. I'm talking because this channel is created to promote freedom of speech. Now, if you don't want to talk, then what? I mean, stay. I mean, participate on the channel anyway, even if you don't want to talk. If you want to do something else, do it. But this channel is to talk. It's just to promote freedom of speech. Leave a comment below and let me know your view. I'm really, really grateful for people who have been helping, who have been supporting. We are getting more and more support. Statistically, also, more and more people are actually being involved with our. That is the nature of social media. Social media is really nice. And people who don't even know begin to talk to you because we are humans, social media is proof that even with technology, we still have the inclination to be with one another, to be social. So I'm really happy to really spend time at least once a day or whatever and just share my views. Because that is what social media is for. Some people use it for different things. If you like dancing, you're sharing your desire with other people. Your desire is to dance. I don't know what else people do when they're trying to express themselves. But to the extent that the platform or the governance or the system allows you so to do what you do, just do it. I mean, it's about freedom. It's whatever you do. If you just talk or somebody just come and shit and watch, stare at the camera and say nothing. I mean, if people like it, then they will tell you they really, really like to see you sitting there staring at the camera and saying nothing. They just people. I mean, you'll be surprised how many things, different things people like for different reasons. I mean, sometimes you just look at somebody behind the camera, you like them or you don't. It doesn't matter what they do. Sometimes people just come and say, hi, 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 I'm so happy to be here. They don't say anything. But you like them. It's like your freedom. Your freedom to do what you want to do. And to the extent that you're free. And even under the worst of dictatorship, humans have always triumphed over evil. Evil forces have tried their best. Evil forces have tried in the history of humanity to destroy humans. Human will always prevail. It doesn't matter how bad things are now. I mean, I can sit here and say, humans are going to go extinct. They won't. They will survive. I mean, there are a group of people now who are so violent. Everybody is violent or has the potential for violence. And that's why culture is extremely important. I talked about cultural economy as part of the cost of living. Because, the way you can learn how to change, to think differently. People have the capacity to think, to change. You are what you think. You are the way you are. Depending. I mean, you can choose fear over power. You can choose to be positive. Even if things are so bad, people can teach themselves to be resilient. That's what is being taught now in schools, and I think it's a good thing. I think it has to do with something called social prescribing. Resilience is very good because what are you going to do? You're in the world. You're alive. It doesn't matter what you say or don't say. You have to learn to survive, whether there is a cost of living or not. There are people I speak to. When I speak to people, I talk to them, and they tell me they want to commit suicide. They can commit suicide. They can commit suicide if they want. because it's part of their freedom. It's always, human beings have always been free. And that is something unique about life. Life, as you choose. You choose to live, you choose to die. And I'm not saying if you choose to do one thing or the other, it's going to be easy. I can't imagine somebody trying to commit suicide who is trying to kill themselves. Well, I wish you luck. I mean, if that is what you really, really want to do, you want to kill yourself, I wish you luck. But I should say that even if you are really intent on killing yourself, you might fail. Maybe you won't. But what I really say to people is life is worth it because you only live once. Don't think that you can run away. Okay, you can run away if you think killing yourself is running away. Go ahead. But I don't think it is running away really from anything because you don't know what death look like. I mean, we are designed to stay alive. That is the essence of our existence. Every human now, actually, scientists are doing research to study aging because aging is the as soon as you are conceived in the womb, there's a death sentence on your head. It's called aging. You start aging from when you are conceived in the womb, and you grow up as a baby, as a fetus in the womb, and that's the death sentence. Being in the womb is a form of a death sentence because the clock starts ticking. As soon as you are conceived in the womb, the clock starts ticking, tack, 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 tack. Going from when you were conceived towards when you're going to grow too old to stay alive. You're going to be too old to stay alive. And so, and you have to really, if you are an adult, or even if you're a child, I mean, a child's, my nephew had a baby recently. I spoke to him yesterday, and I could hear the baby crying at the back. I say, wow, the baby is crying. I say, the baby is good, but when she wants some food, or if she wants something, really, she cries. And she was only 2 days old. I see, that is a miracle of life. Because, a little baby, now, knows how to send signals. You see, that kind of power in a baby to survive. I mean, if she's feeling pain, that is anger. I don't know how the signal works because, thankfully, my memory of childhood or even being a baby is really, I don't remember anything being a baby or even when I'm still very young. I think that is probably a good thing. But what I'm trying to say is that every human being, including babies, little babies, know that their number one priority is to survive. Doesn't matter how uncertain life is, the number one priority is to stay alive. So with the cost of living, the cost of living is not just about money. It's about health. See, it's about health. It's about staying alive. We may suffer. We may suffer humiliation. We may suffer disappointments because we want to succeed in life. We want to be rich. We want to be like rich people. We means ordinary people who are actually poor. Actually, the many people of this. If you're not a millionaire, it's a sign that you're not rich. If you're not a millionaire and you think you're rich, that is fine. Leave a comment below. Let me know how you feel about yourself. So some people really define wealth in terms of health, in terms of happiness. If they have friends, if they have family, that is wealth. But I mean money and the capacity to buy material things. Like a house, expensive cars. That's what every man wants to do. That is their dream. Going on holiday. Being free from work. I mean, there is always a semblance of freedom. It doesn't matter, even slaves are free. They can refuse to obey their master and die. They can choose death of our life. Give me freedom, liberty, or death. They have that freedom. They is human beings are so endowed. I mean, we are so special. If you are a human being, don't let anybody despise you because you're poor. I mean, if you want people to despise you, if you want to disrespect yourself, or speaking of cultural economy, it's about respect. Respecting yourself because you deserve it. You are human. You are the best. Look after yourself. You see, you have to look after yourself. If you don't want to look after yourself, that is your responsibility. And people who can look after each other do so, and that's the right thing to do. That is also part of the cultural economy I talk about. You respect yourself. You respect others. You reach out to help, whether you are poor, whether some people are monsters, but even monsters can change from being monsters because monstrosity occurs in terms of the way people behave. I mean, if you can change the way you think and start behaving well, you can change from being a monster to a saint. And for me, that is enough to give me hope for humanity. Humanity will win. We will have the final say. There is going to be peace with capitalism or otherwise. But now I'm just trying to give you this information about capitalism as part of the cost of living. I'm trying to talk about the cost of living as an instrument of your help. It's supposed to support you. People can interpret support the way they like. It may mean, but the most obvious way, the way people, when I talk of support, people think of the free money given by the government in a developed country. It may not be in the developing country like Africa, but this money is available in the developed world, in Britain, in the UK, and it actually helps. It helps people. It's called benefit. A lot of people don't want benefit because it works against their dignity. It's very undignified to go to the government to beg for money, and you really suffer. If you work with people like that, and I do, I give benefit advice, I give housing benefit advice, I give employment advice, I give immigration advice. That's why I know how to do research. Also, I know how to explain policy, and that is my skill and my experience and my knowledge. So I speak to people. I have interviewing skill. I interview people. People talk to me. I take notes. I compile their information. I do research. I do write up for them. I write cases. So I have a lot of skill in this field, social policy objective area of work. And so I know what people actually talk to me. People cry to me on the phone when I'm actually helping them in my line of work. When I'm helping them, you talk to them. You actually sometimes you turn into a counselor. You do counseling. All you have to do is really listen, because some people are so sick, so unwell, and they feel nobody listens to them because the government tells people there is help and there is. But when people try to get this help, the help is so complicated to get. And the reason it's so complicated to get help now, because the government has changed direction. Capitalism also, because of government policy and ideology, especially right-wing conservatism. The Conservative Party ruling the country now are responsible for the extreme right-wing beliefs and practices. So because they have been ruling this country for 12 years, they are not the only ones. The Labour Party is also changing. There's something called New Labour, which is more capitalistic. If you're in the Western world, actually, if you're in the world now, think of one thing only: capitalism. Rule has always been about capitalism. It's about money. Money is like capitalism, accumulation of wealth. Rulers use wealth as sources of power. You see, and the reason they have wealth, they want wealth, so that they can maintain power. They want power to rule They want rule actually is control. One or two people actually come together as communities, as allies of rulers, ruling elites. They form government and they use the government to oppress other people so that to exploit them, to abuse them. Exploitation is a form of abuse. Exploitation of man by man. that's what that's what capitalism is. Exploitation of man by man. That's actually the mode of operation. I mean, government is a terrible thing. The government should be shut down, but we can't shut it down because our lives now depend on it. It's like you are stuck with a terrible master who is exploiting you for his personal gain or for his corporate gain in this case, because power has now changed in structure, it's really modified. You have masters, slave masters, because government is a form of slavery. The citizens are actually slaves, those who are ruled over. And there's coming a time when you will beg your master to rule over you because you want him to feed you, you want him to house you. You beg him to give you a job. The job which he uses, he actually gives you work because you are a slave. And that's the history of capitalism. The history of rule, actually. Capitalism is a form of rule. It's economic. It's ruling through economic. We are told it's an economic system, and it is. But it is the purpose for it is actually to rule. That's why it has to be controlled. You know, capitalism is used to control wealth. The reason rulers, the government, the reason the government control rule, the reason the government control wealth, so that he can control leverage of power, because wealth is an instrument of power. It's for nothing else. You don't need wealth. You need wealth because you're greedy. That is fine. Even poor people are greedy for money. They're greedy for wealth. It's as part of human nature, which is corrupt. I don't know how corruption entered into humanity, but humans are so corrupt. And that is actually disease. Even the poor people, anybody, I mean, even a small child, any child born today is corrupt already. Even when they are crying, they start crying with tricks in their head. Children, babies. And but babies are better than adults because they are still innocent. The more an innocent you are, the worse you get. You know, the older you become, the more aware you are. The worse you become as an individual. But I'm not really pessimistic about humanity because fundamentally, humans are actually glorious. Humans are so beautiful. I mean, the world is so exciting. The world is a special place because of humanity. And I say this because I know I still speak. I use this. I'm not wasting it because I have hope that people can heal their corrupt nature. See, the medicine is really to change the way we think. I don't know how corruption came into people. People are just like they learn corruption all the time. They lie. It doesn't mean they don't tell the truth. The fact that they tell the truth also. But the problem with truth is that it's pure. Because if you keep lying, even if you tell the truth now, people will not believe you. I mean, there's rumors that a certain prime minister, British prime minister, is a liar. People talk openly about a British prime minister as being a liar. And they talk of politicians as being untrustworthy. You can't trust them. If you don't trust them, it means they lie. When they tell you something, you have to think twice. And I think that is really not good for a human being, let alone politicians. Politicians are different because they have power. They're part of the ruling class now. They work for slave masters. Slave masters are actually multi-billionaires. Multi-millionaires. Most of them are not even in power unless your name is Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak has so much money that he qualified to be a slave master. and his wife. And I say his wife is also very wealthy. So his wife is also a slave mistress. Leave a comment below how we should call somebody who is actually a ruler, who is a slave master. If she's a female, can we call her a slave mistress? Because this slavery master relationship was created by men. Women are now joining because the world is changing. It used to be a male gender specific in favor of men. Men created these monsters called the government to rule over people. I mean, who wants to be ruled over? No one. So they created politics to deceive people. And politics, I don't know. Leave a comment below. What is politics? I think it's mean deception. I think politics is just set to make people happy, to make you sleep. It's like a sleeping pill to kind of like, because population has grown. The problem with capitalists is that there are so many people. The more people there are, you cannot control. The more people, the more you cannot control them. So the ideal situation for a capitalist is to destroy as many people as possible so that you can remain in power. Otherwise, if see the thing is, if you cannot control them, I don't know what else you can do. I mean, are you going to kill them, or I mean, you're a capitalist, which means you're a rich person, you're super rich, you're super powerful, and you're a ruler, you're a slave master. The capitalist, you're actually a slave master. Leave a comment below. What are you going to do with people if there are 8 billion people in the world and you can no longer control them? Are you going to create technology to control people? What if you don't have technology? Because the machine can do that, but the problem with machine, it can have virus. That virus is going to destroy slaves and masters, and the machine will turn into a master. That will be, I mean, that is a very dangerous thing if the machine does that, because we are now creating artificial intelligence with the machine. Leave a comment below and give me a feedback about this conversation. If you like it, click like and subscribe for my channel if you like this topic and if it makes sense to you. Because I think if we are being ruled, and the cost of living is caused by ruling, by the system of rule. I mean, if there was no system of rule, we wouldn't be talking about the cost of living, because we would have land. The rulers took away our land in Britain. We don't know where they put the land. The land is there, but it's not yours. Somebody else owns it. The government owns some of it. But whatever the government owns, it sells. When it sells land, it sells to people with money. And these are actually multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires. They are the slave masters. You are the slave. And you should be happy, because these slave masters are helping you now to survive, because you can't turn the clock back. Some people are trying to behave as if they can turn the clock back. While you're a slave, you're a slave. Freedom is a relative term. It's not absolute. I mean, if you're released from prison, then you're free, but you have a criminal record, or you're in prison, you have to start fighting, struggling. That is another free prison. You leave one prison and you come to another. Prison where you're incarcerated is in an institution, and you become into the world as a prisoner, because your name is tainted as a criminal. You have a criminal record, and you have to look for work. And employers do not want criminals. One of the criteria for employability is actually honesty. Honesty is opposite of corruption or dishonesty. It's corrupt. If you are corrupt, if you have a criminal record, it's evidence that you're a bad person. Employers do not employ problem. They employ solutions to solve their problem. So ex-offenders are, and most likely they're not. I mean, the law says they shouldn't be discriminated against, but in practice, employability and the process of employment there is a subjective force. I mean, if you are disabled, if you suffer from disability, and the law says you should not be discriminated against on the basis of your disability. If you're a black person in a white country, And the law says black people, you should not be discriminated on the basis of race when you're looking for work. But you're not going to get into the head of our employer because he has he has a discretion. He employs you, he or she employs you on his own discretion. He decides. If he says he found somebody, I mean, this is how employers talk when they don't give you work. They tell you that somebody else was better than you. Because that's the idea of capitalism. It's competition. It's competitive. The market is competitive. You choose the best. See, you choose the best. If you are a master, you have the choice. You choose. I mean, if you find a slave who is now weak and then sick, I mean, what use is such a slave to you? Watch a movie and leave a comment below if you have watched that movie. 12 Years a Slave by Nyongolo Peter. And I don't know the other one who played the other role. You look for the character, the main character in 12 Years a Slave. You cannot miss it. If you Google that 12 Years a Slave, I remember the main character, Nyongolo Peter. You look at that movie. I mentioned 12 Years a Slave in the previous video. Then you know the essence of rule. You know the essence of slavery. Capitalism is a form of slavery. Any form of rule at all, whether it is capitalism or not, is a form of slavery. If you see a government is a symbol of slavery. Slavery is a form of oppression. It's oppressive tool. There is no democracy. Democracy exists in the textbook and also as an idea. We are learning to practice democracy, which is a good thing. Go and vote. You elect somebody, they're probably going to do the same thing anyway. I mean, in some government, if you're a poor person, if you're a slave, this is a language I use because I think it's the same. People can use they can use citizenship. Why should I be a citizen if I pay tax? I cannot be a citizen if I have to work for somebody else. Work is a very honorable thing. I should work for myself. I should own my own land. In a country like Britain, I should have land. Maybe land I can grow my own food. I don't have to buy my food from a supermarket. If I misbehave in a supermarket, I'm going to be kicked out. Some 2 African women were nearly kicked out of a shop last week. Actually, last week going now. Because they were actually kind of like creating a lot of problems. I mean, according to the shopkeeper, the cashier said the black lady, 2 black ladies were creating a lot of problems for him. He said to me, those women can be banned from coming to the shop because if they harass a member of staff. I said, well, I said to the man, to the cashier, I said, I think what we are saying makes sense because that's a government policy, a private government policy. Big organization like whatever. Some big shops like whatever. You think of a big shop, leave a comment below if you have seen a big shop, a I see a shop like Sainsbury's, Boots. I can't remember which one. I mean, so many like Marks and Spencer. These are really big stores. They are corporate organizations. They are government. They are private government. The people who work there are actually slave masters. The people who work there, who are actually captains of industries, they are leaders of the corporate empire. They are actually officers of the emperors. These private emperors are the multimillionaires who invest, who own those projects. The owners of this, like Arrow, the owner of Arrow is an emperor. It's a market, it's a capitalistic emperor. Emperor are some of the most brutal dictators the world has ever known. Because you see, business empires. So empires of the trading economy, of capitalism, capitalistic empires. And it's going global. And these people are actually brutal. They all your life into their hands. I mean, if you have a boss, worship them. If you live on and live long, I mean, if you live under oppression, if you watch 12 Years a Slave, if you are a slave living under capitalism, worship capitalists because your life is in their hands. Look at what the gas company is doing to customers. Customers, there are two types of customers. There are customers who are actually more of a slave because the poor you are, the more the more you are actually at the bottom of the pile of the pile of you are at the bottom of the pile of slavery. The richer you are, the more respected you are. The poorer you are, the less respected. If you will think I'm wrong, leave a comment below and let me know. Are you respected if people know you're poor? Some people are so afraid of being poor that they pretend to be rich. If you ask me now if I'm rich or poor, I won't answer the question. But probably you can guess whether I'm poor or rich. But you wouldn't know. I might be rich. Maybe even if you know me personally, you knew me yesterday, last week. At least people who know me, even people who do not know me can guess whether I'm rich or not. Leave a comment below if you think I'm rich or poor. If I'm poor, let us assume I'm poor. If I win a lottery tomorrow, I play a national lottery tomorrow, and win £1,000,000, maybe £5 million, £10 million, I'm going to be rich. Tomorrow, I will be a different person, and people will treat me like a master. I'll be working my way toward being a master. Some people will literally call me sir. Sir is actually another way of saying master, my lord. Sir is meaning my lord, my master. If somebody calls you sir, it's a polite way of saying my master or my mistress, because it used to be masters only. And I keep saying master, but they are mistresses now. Because women are now becoming slave owners. Those who own slaves. The other masters and mistresses. These are actually multi-billionaires who own capitalism. They're rich. And right today, we talk about interest rates. We talk about, there's something called monetarism. If you know anything about monetarism under capitalism, leave a comment below and tell me what it is. What do you think it is? Because monetarism is a policy. It's a policy to manage money. There's something called money supply and money demand. If there is supply, then there is demand. Let me know. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. All I would say is that monetarism is actually a policy of managing money supply. If there is more money, there is going to be inflation. If there is oversupply of money, there is going to be inflation. There is something called leveling up under capitalism. Leveling up under capitalism means giving more money, taking money from the poor and giving it to the rich. That is actually to maintain stability, economic stability. Because you see, there is a pyramid of power operational. There is something called the pyramid of power. You start learning it in secondary school, in primary school also. I think I started learning it in primary school. I can't remember now. Secondary school is something like GCSE in England, or GCE, A level or O level. You begin to learn something called the pyramid of power. It looks like a triangle. It has 4 bases and 1 tip. There are 5. I think it's 5-sided material. I think in mathematical terms you call them prism or something. I don't know. Leave a comment below. Or yeah. What do you know about pyramid? It's a structure. Leave a comment below. Let me know about, because see, capitalism is measured. The power of capitalism is measured by pyramid. It's a pyramid scheme. wealth, if we start to trickle down, including money flowing, money is always flowing up and down the economy. Under capitalism, money is at a flow. It moves. It's like a living organism. It moves up and down. Former Prime Minister, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, the late Margaret Thatcher, later Lady Thatcher, I think Baroness or Lady Thatcher, I can't remember. She passed away now. She was a former British Prime Minister. She said, under capitalism, wealth trickle down the economy. So today we talk about trickle down economics, which means wealth will trickle down from the rich to the poor. The government is not supposed to intervene because the market should be supposed to be free to do its own thing. To actually let us leave the market alone. That is what's now happening. That's what caused the crisis known as the cost of living. Because of extreme capitalism, we allowed the market to free fall. And the people to suffer first in the crisis are the many who are actually the poor, who are, in my own language, I mean, you don't need to use the word slavery. That is what I use. Use some other words if you want. If you can use it, look, I mean, if it makes sense that these people are slaves, because that is where I started. They used to be called slaves. Citizen, what the people you now call citizens were slaves. Citizenship imply rule. And now if somebody is there ruling, they called government. Government is actually a ruler. Sometimes they call them kings, as they used to call them. Sometimes they call them emperors. Emperors were more powerful than kings because they ruled the world. They rule over kings. If they actually conquer a kingdom, then they set a king of their choosing to rule over those countries, those states. So the king in that state will be ruling under the emperor, the overall ruler. Maybe Britain, when he ruled the world under the British Empire, the King of England could have been renamed as emperor because the Queen, I think it was Queen Victoria, when they conquered Africa. when Britain ruled over Africa, it was under Queen Victoria of England. So Queen Victoria could have been an empress or something like that. They should have been renamed an empress. But I think because of British diplomacy, because the way Britain ruled is actually through diplomacy more than anything else. They are so clever. In other words, they're so persuasive. And that's why I think, in my opinion, I think Britain lead in trade and foreign politics, and diplomacy. I think they are good in trade. If my understanding is correct, leave a comment below. I think Britain, even now, depend on trade. Because trade is actually, you have to be good at in negotiations. I don't know if they're good, but that's what I in my understanding, leave a comment below. And let me know what you think about British and Britain. Are they clever in terms of democracy, diplomacy, and trade? If you think they are clever, they're maybe smarter than most people, then let me know. Let me leave a comment below. Let me know. But all I know is that they use more diplomacy. When they came to my country in East Africa, Uganda, they didn't say, the British didn't say, they didn't tell us they were ruling over us. They said they were protecting us. So today we have Uganda Protectorate as an historical event, which now, if you look at the substance of Uganda Protectorate, it was actually colonialism. It was British rule. The British were ruling Uganda, and they didn't say we are going to rule you. We are not ruling over you. We are protecting you. So there's something in Ugandan history, colonial history of Uganda, called the British Protectorate. That was the name of the empire. The British rule, the name of the rule, British rule, imperial rule in Uganda was called the British Protectorate. So Ugandans were so happy that, these people are coming to help us. They are protecting us. But, some people, especially the king of Buganda in Uganda, we don't want to go that way. We don't go that way. Maybe that's a topic for another time. Uganda history. Leave a comment below if you know the history of Uganda. The colonial rule of the colonial history of Uganda, and how the British rule over Africa, and how the Europeans rule over Africa. Mainly the Europeans actually, because I think I don't know how that happened because it was a British imperial system. The Roman Empire was there, which I think Britain took over from Rome. After the Roman Empire, we had the British Empire. And after, because I had in history the decline of the British Empire, I didn't hear the. Maybe there was the fall of the British Empire in history. If you know the history, the British Empire has fallen. I heard a lot about the decline of the British Empire. I didn't hear about the fall. I don't know the difference. Leave a comment below. But if something falls, it means it's gone. It's no longer there. But if it declines, it means it decline in power and influence. And curiously, the British Empire might still be there. We may not even know. I may assume the British Empire, because nobody talks about it anymore. We talk about the British Empire now in terms of the historical incident. But we have something called globalization. I don't know who controls globalization. Whoever controls it, I think the United Nations. My curiosity is that whoever controls the UN is the new emperor. Can be a man or woman, maybe the USA. But my suspicion is the European Union, somebody in Europe. I was trying to say it would be a British kind of like influencer, if you like, of globalization. I still think I would be shocked. I would be entirely shocked if Britain is not playing a central role in Europe in the first place, in the second, playing a central role in globalization. I will be entirely. I think Britain is even more powerful now than America and Russia. Sorry, and China. Um, America is still the biggest economy, the wealthiest country in the world. China is the second wealthiest. Britain is the sixth richest. But London is such a unique city. Controls. I'm going to suspect that it's leading now, or is set to lead in the next 5-10 years in global finance. There is going to be no city greater than London in terms of global finance, and global finance will be driving the global economy. The global economy will be driving globalization. So indirectly, in about 10-20 years, Britain will be leading the globe as the number one power because of the city of London, because of the financial system being built, the global finance of the world. The center will be in London, I think, because London has a very special place in terms of trade. I'm not suggesting for a minute that globalization is going to bring peace. I think it's going to be the contrary. There's going to be a lot of chaos. We've seen with Brexit now. Brexit is a total myth. I don't even know what it is. Leave a comment below if you think Britain is still in Europe. If you think Brexit really occurred, leave a comment below. I think it didn't. I think it was fake. I think it was a political, I don't even know, Hollywood. Brexit was a complete movie. It's a fictional movie by the conservative government, led by the conservative government and the global media. I don't think Britain left Europe at all, in substance. My suspicion is surrounding when we voted to leave Europe, then we began to talk about Brexit deals. And nobody knows what the details. I mean, even if somebody tells you about Brexit deal, there's going to be a lot of material to study. And this material, government material, are so, especially legal material, is so complex. So complex that, I mean, when people talk of transparency, people talk of, I don't even know what they talk about. I mean, the reality of governance is so different. I'm going to stop this video here. Um, I will talk about capitalism. I'll leave a comment below what you think about capitalism, what you think about leave a feedback. Subscribe for the channel and view as many videos as possible. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.